What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Thank you for being here. As always, I appreciate everybody who comes to see the stream. And today's a big one. We're finally gonna prep it out to make a 3D model. It's gonna be nice. We're gonna talk a bit about filament printing and resin printing. Those are the two main ones for 3D printing right now. And we're going to prepare our king to make sure that it fits for both printing process. And I'm going to teach you how to prep your file to make it ready for print. So hop in. Let me know in the comments if the music is too loud, if my voice is too loud. And yeah, let's hop on. So here we are in our infamous Zbrush. Now, as you can see with our pose that we had last week, already more promising for our character than the regular A pose and T pose. So yeah, so you can see that I added a little bit more details in the fur. I kept the original one just underneath so we can have like a structure, and added these ones on top. Arranged the pose because we had the braces a bit offset. Just realized that I hide the cape. Let's put it back on. Speaking of the cape, put some volume onto it, put some shape, folds. So it has a nice story to the pose. So you can really feel like he's ready for war, and also he's menacing. Very nice pose. I like in the end that we went with this pose. For some stitching, I redid them a bit more closer than before. And speaking of which, they don't have so much of a high resolution. I don't think by the scale that we're gonna print, it's going to affect that much the difference. But yep, that's it. What else? Some stitching on the tunic on the bottom, a little bit of texture on the boots, fine grain on the big parts, and a bigger grain on the small parts. What else? I think that was pretty much it. The rest you saw in the last episode. If you didn't see it, hop on the last episode. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe the shoulder guards had some more details off camera. So yeah, all good stuff. Now then, let's get ready for 3D print. So since we've been working with Character Creator makes your character in a 1-to-1 size. So since we're going with a dwarf, this character is around 4 feet 50. We won't be 4 feet 5, sorry. We won't be printing a 4 feet 5 model today. So in order to make sure that this character is the right scale, we will merge everything together except the little platform. And by the way, the platform is really simple. Just a cylinder and a cylinder inside with a little bit of grain. That's it. Not a fan of doing a big platform for this one, because since it's a chess piece, they're all gonna have the same kind of platform. That way the platform doesn't take too much the attention. It's more the player. All right. So here, I'm gonna click on anything that we can see. And the first thing I want to do is merge visible. Now I did some testing yesterday, and this is kind of a tedious process, but if you're patient, which I'm not, you'll be able to do it. So if I was able to do it, you can too. So here we have our model all merged up, and you can see that it's 20 million, 21, close to 21 million of polygons. So that is our full scale. In order to print it to a 35 millimeter height character, little mini, we have to scale it down. But we don't know which size this character is. So you can go to Z plugin, go to Scale Master, and here slide to subtool size. Now if I remember yesterday when I did it, it's gonna pop a message because the bond, the Scale Master plugin, sorry, is limited to the size that we have right now. And as you can see, a little message. It's going about over 100, so it's going to unify the whole thing. Say yes. So since it was a 4 feet something, the scale was way above millimeters. So it kind of shrink it down already to fit millimeters scale. Now if we go to sliders, we can see that is 142 millimeters of height, 175 millimeters of width, and the depth is around 116. So that's considering from the tip of the sword to the tip of the hand, the tip of the boot to the tip of his hair, and the tip of this part of the cape to the tip of the sword. So it's always the largest part of the character. So here there's only one unit that we need to change, one value, and it's the height. Just want the height to fit. The rest we want to keep it as it is. So this one over here we're going to put in 35, and don't forget to press enter because Scale Master is a bit picky. He wants that enter, and then you resize that tool. And now this character is 35 millimeter height. Good? That's good. From here, if we want to print it as it is like that, and I'm pretty sure it'll work because, little spoiler alert, I did a test myself. So this one over here is tiny. It's our A pose and A/T pose of our king. You probably can't see it. Let me see if I can switch actually to my other screen. I'm not sure. Let me put in my hand back. Maybe it'll focus. Let me hide my face. I don't. But you get the gist of it. It's tiny. Super tiny. So that's 35 millimeter. And if we want to measure it, actually have a ruler back here. Yeah. On the dot, 35 millimeter. Looks good. Thank you so much. Oh, my wires are a little bit tangled in the back. Here we go. These wireless headsets, they don't last long for me. All right, 35 millimeter. So as you can see, we don't really need to separate it in pieces. It kind of holds on really well. And this is actually a filament print. So it's not a resin. And it was able to keep a lot of details. Unfortunately, I can't show you because my webcam it's super cheap, so you can't really see it, but you kind of see the silhouette of the ram shoulder pads. You can't even see the little the little tunic. Oops, if my finger is not in the way. Little tunic over here. Actually, you know what? I had a little pants of tweezers. All right. Might be easier. My big finger is not in the way. Yeah, so unfortunately you can't focus on it. It's getting unfortunate. Well, you have the real deal right here. So this is 35mm. We can export it at this size and it'll work. One thing though, we can't really send 21 million polygons to the slicer. So here's the tedious part of this process. We need to merge it first and then reduce the resolution. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually we're gonna rename this one. We're gonna call it King Dwarf 35mm. We're gonna create a scene for just this file in case Zbrush crashes in anything, because this is a lot of polygons that Zbrush has to work on, and also there's a lot of polygon inside. We have the body, we have the chainmail, we have the fur. It's everything having contact with each other. It's kind of a problem. Now, one thing I'm not sure I did adjust, but I had to adjust this a lot of times yesterday, and we need to see here in the pants, it seems like the pants weren't thick enough. It had contact with something else, and it was merging with something else. So we're gonna double check that. We're gonna select the pants, Control Shift A. So we merged it, but it's not dynameshed, so it's not watertight. It's not one part. So clicking Control Shift A will select everything from the pants. And you can see here that when we sculpted the pants, it kind of dig in this part over here. So an easy way to fix that, we can grab this subtool over here, the green one. Actually, we're gonna unselect the other ones. I think it's gonna be a lot easier. Yeah, so here we only have the inside of the pants. And from here, we're gonna inflate. No, we're actually gonna scale inside. And now if we show everything back, doesn't change. It doesn't change at the outside, but on the inside, we have more thickness. So we have less chances of merging with something we don't want. Also over here, if I'm not mistaken, in the tunic, we had kind of the same issue over here. Now these are things that I tested out yesterday. So it's normal that you're wondering, how does he know this? We never see it on stream. Don't worry, it's fine. I was doing it yesterday and I had a little bit of issue. So here you can see there's a small pinch, and when we're gonna dynamesh, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be a little bit of a problem. So we smooth it out, and what we can do is move topological and have that blast masking, back face masking on. Just gonna smooth it out a little bit more, and we're gonna drag this part over here. Now what that does, it's affecting only one polygon. You can see I'm adding thickness like here. I'm doing the same thing here, but just more subtle, so it doesn't change the shape. And that's it. Now we could normally not doing it on the merge file because we're kind of doing it the wrong way, because this is already merged out. We should do it on their separate. So let's just fix it on our separate and we'll save it. That way we don't have any issue afterwards. So you can see that little crease, and it's also a lot faster here because we don't have that 20 million-ish polygons. There we go. So I'm just gonna move this part over here and just a bit inside too. As you can see, this little fold over here, I think that's the one causing some problem. I'm gonna move this one too. Move this one too. I think that should be enough. There we go. And for the pants, I'm gonna do the same thing. Grab this part, scale it down. Now we have a lot more thickness here, and we can actually smooth a little bit inside. Can go smaller resolution and make sure that this part is smooth. That way we have a lot of thickness. So you can see. So now we have way more thickness in between the two material. We know it won't clash together. All right, so that's that. If I'm not mistaken, that was the issues that we had yesterday. And that's pretty much it. Another place we could have issues is in the cape, but I made sure that the cape is really thick. So I'm not sure we're gonna have any issues on this part. Just gonna smooth this part over here though. Don't like it as it is. All right. All right, so going back to our 35mm. Smooth this part also over here. That's why I'm saying just do it on your first thing and then on your first file and then merge it together. All right. We're gonna save these changes on both files. And here we're gonna start the prepping phase for 3D printing. For 35mm, we don't need any cuts, but if we want to have a 75mm mini, that's where we're gonna need a cut, because I realized in my short journey of 3D printing, if you cut things, it's a lot easier to print than if you don't cut them. And instead of waiting 9 hours for a print, you can wait for 4 hours and you have their print and you just glue them together and that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. And also, if one fails, you just arrange the other one instead of having one big part. And if it fails at the middle, the whole thing is to scrap. So cut your prints. All right. For this one, 35mm, we don't need to bother about that. So we will Dynamesh with a quite a high resolution. We'll go to, actually 2000 was pretty good. We're gonna Dynamesh and see what we had. Now you can see here we lost a lot of details. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to save our project history. We're gonna go maximum of Dynamesh and just test it out here. See, we lost a few details, but I think we can reproject them all and we should be good. So project history. Now this will take a lot of time since it's 20 million polygon. In the meantime, I hope you have a drink or two, and you can comment in the comments how was your week, and if you have any plans this weekend. I, for myself, we had a new member in the family, a little cat called Lady Calypso Whiskus, fourth of her name. Yes, that is her name. And she been keeping me all week. What's up, Dylan? How's it going? Always happy to see you, buddy. Yeah, this little cat has been keeping me awake in the morning, in the night, playing with some toys in the night and sleeping all day. Yep, real fun. Real fun. How many of you have cats at home? Always good, my man. That's it. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I'm pretty good myself. Pretty good myself. Just added a cat to the family, and it's bringing already life in the home. Well, yeah, been doing some testing, and I don't know if you got here just in time, but we're ready to print the king in the real life, becoming a real thing. Oh yeah. Just waiting for project all our details to this version of the king, and it's already going to be a lot more interesting than a regular A-pose. Right. It's obviously taking a lot of time because all the resolution. New chat, yes. The chat is called Lady Calypso Whiskus, fourth of her name. Yes, sir. That's the whole thing. And when we call her, it's Lady Calypso Whiskus, fourth of her name. There is no short name. No, we're kidding. Sometimes it's Lady, sometimes it's Whiskus. In the meantime, for the project to finish, let me show you some future software we're gonna use. Damn, hell yeah, damn, that's a long name. So here we have the Bamboo Studio. This lovely machine. Yeah, in the back is a Bamboo A1, the one that you see on the screen that is logged in. And I have a AMS system, which allows me to multicolor print. For this project, we're not pretty multicolored because it's going to be a lot of wasted resin. And for such a small piece, I don't think it's going to be viable. And also the fact that this character has a chainmail, then a tunic, then a shoulder pad. It's actually better to just paint it the way you want it instead of having the hassle of managing the multicolor aspect of your print. So here, that's Bamboo Studio for filament printing. So for this kind of printing over here. And also, I don't have any else printed. Well, actually, this is a little sneak peek of a pose that I'm gonna do else, but this is a leg. So with filament printing, you can get quite a high size of miniature that you can do. If I had any idea of something, what could you print? Actually, anything. The limit is up to you. You can do a penguin with a gun. You can do Superman fighting Batman. You can do whatever you like. For me myself, I'm more for miniatures and sculptors. But yeah, don't limit yourself to what can be done, and just do whatever you like. So here in the Sclicer, we're actually going to use our 0.2 nozzle. So the nozzle is this little part over here that goes in the printer. Oh my god, the printer is running and the nozzle is here. No, I'm kidding. So this is a 0.4 nozzle. Yeah, you can't see it. I really need to have a better webcam, but in the meantime, I think it'll do. Let me see if I can. Yeah. That's a 4, alright? That's a 4. So, 0.4 nozzle. It's a bit bigger. You can do bigger stuff with it, and it prints faster than the 0.2 nozzle. But 0.2 nozzle allows you to have finer details like in this little mini. Are you only making commercial orders? I'm actually not doing commercial orders. I'm more of a freelance, so these are projects that you can access yourself. And I also have a side business that I do with more of a personal project for people. So that answer your question. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, 0.2 nozzle for small miniatures. So we're gonna use that 0.2 nozzle, and if we wanted to do resin printing, we have the Lychee Sclicer resin printing slicer. So here we don't use a nozzle. It is a liquid resin, such as this thing, very liquidy, that you put in the printer, and UV lights will freeze or cure the resin. And usually you can go to 0.02 millimeters or 2 micrometers, and it allows you to have a higher definition. So this is pretty much the goal that I'm going with. We're gonna print this size on our king in both resin and filament. That way we can compare. The big advantage of filament, it's less toxic. You don't need to put a mask. You don't need to have it ventilated. That's why I have this little tree tent over here, and grow tree tent. And yeah, so but the filament, you'll lose a bit of details. Now, to the naked eye, it's pretty good. But once you zoom in with a camera or with a magnifying glass, you can see some issues. But I think this could be cool to have in your house if you want to play chess with it. So we're gonna go hop back on the ZBrush. I'm curious, Dylan, did you have an idea you had to you'd like to make in 3D? Let me know in the comments. So here it projected our details. I kind of feel like we lost a bit of details. So what we can do over here is we can subdivide one time, and we'll project our history once again. Take quite some time. This one's going to take really quite some time. So I'll go back to our slicer, and I can actually do a little bit of a cooking show kind of thing. Trying to find something special for decoration. Well, it depends if where you're gonna decorate. If you're planning in your room or in a gaming space, could be cool to have maybe. I don't know if you're the kind of gamer, but you can have a controller holder that is like pretty much like a dragon or creature that you like. Or some people also like to have things organized, so you can print some organizers with filament printing, and it's pretty easy. You can even do modular stuff. Or if it's something on the wall, it could be a favorite show that you like, a character that is printed on the wall. If it's in the kitchen, you can always have like some tools for kitchen, a knife holder or a chopsticks. You can even print chopsticks. I don't know, there's no limit. You can really come up with crazy ideas. Yeah, yeah. How do you price? It depends. When it comes to pricing, it's always depending on the project, and depends also on the details of the project. Depends if it's resin printing, filament printing. I don't usually print, so I do mostly design work. And simple reason is I only have two printers, so it's more of a personal project that I print for myself, because I couldn't yet to manufacture a business for printing everything together. So if ever this YouTube thing climb up and I can afford more printer, sure, maybe I'll start a 3D printing business instead of a 3D business. So yeah. Yeah. So here, like I was gonna say, is here in the Sclicer, I can show you a bit what I had with the T-pose. So this is the exact same file that you can see over here. The little T-pose over here. As you can see here, I did not scale it before sending it to the Sclicer. So here we need to scale it down, and here we're gonna go over here in 35mm, and that's the size. Now here you will also see the repair button. Usually when we work in Zbrush, we'll have multiple faces merging together, and they share from one geometry to another, and that can be confusing for the Sclicer software. So that's why we need to repair the file and fix it really, really fast. You may have an idea, on s'en reparle. Sure, no problem. So here in the Lychee Sclicer software, this is already linked up to my printer, but not linked up. It's just registered to my printer. So here I have the Anycubic Photon Mono 4, and I have a bunch of resin that I have and tested. Now the way it works is you add the resin that you want. So over here, add a resin. You choose whichever one you have. And a good rule of thumb is to calibrate your resin. Won't go over, but I will mention it really fast. So let's say you would have a Anycubic standard green, and you can see over here that there's a lot of people who printed, but we don't have any information it was a good print or a bad print. So they tested out with different parameters for the print, and you don't know if it works or not. So a good way to do that is to calibrate your resin. So here you would have a bunch of parameters, and I'm not the best one to explain that, but this guy is pretty cool. So from the Lychee, oops, sorry, let me just, there we go. Yeah, so from the Lychee channel, it has a bunch of videos that are really helpful, was really helpful for me to prepare your prints in the Lychee Sclicer. And one of them is the calibration video. So secret of calibration. It's a two-part, if I'm not mistaken. And here, yeah, part 2. And where's the other one? Did I lose it? Fix your... It's out there. But yeah, so here you learn how to calibrate your resin print, and this allows you to have way better results and also less of a print fail. I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. And from here we can go back to our Anycubic. And we can grab our crimson clay. That's the one in the printer right now. So here, this one is 35mm. We're gonna move it just that over here. We're gonna see if our, yeah, it's still projecting our details. It might be crashing. Who knows? If it crashes, we'll do something else. We'll just wait a couple of minutes. But yeah, so here we have our little character. Now, I kind of want to do like a cooking show that you put the thing in the oven and then you're gonna wait 3 hours to get it cooked, and then, wha bam! That's the fastest 3 hour you ever saw in the world, because they already prepped the whole thing. So yeah, I already prepped the 35mm. And again, I didn't scale it to the proper scale. So we're gonna put it back to 35. And here we go. We're gonna prepare. How did you discover this passion, and what were you doing before? So, I discovered this passion after finishing my bachelor. So I studied 3D animation, and after doing it, and I realized that I wasn't a fan of moving characters, but just creating characters and keep them in a nice pose. And I stumbled on Instagram a 3D artist that pretty much does minis also. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Twin. Let's just find out. Twin Goddess Miniatures. So, oh, my mouse having some problem. So this guy over here. And when I saw these miniatures done, I was intrigued into what I was seeing, and I wanted to do that myself. I like the style, a really more cartoony style and stylized. So I tried myself, and I realized that I can kind of do half realism and half cartoony with this sort of style. So started doing that, and before that I was doing some regular jobs for regular people, so such as sales and customer service, you know, that little jobs that you do when you're studying. But I kept doing that before that. So here, going back to our little buddies over here. Now these are 35mm. For these size, you don't really need to hollow them, and the principle of hollowing a part, such as, let's say, this leg is not hollowed because it's a filament, but if I were to print this with a resin printer, it would need to have holes and to be empty inside. The reason why is you want to save resin, and it's also less heavier that way. And if your resin is not strong enough and your print is heavy, it might fall into the vat. Hope you like my question, Andrew. Always like your answers, your questions, though. So yeah, here what we can do to prepare our file. We don't need to hollow the file. Sorry. We just need to place our support. And when it comes to support, our boy from Lychee Sclicer over here, released a, well, actually, he didn't release, but he put in a video in where he explained the new feature of the auto support in the Lychee Sclicer. So here we have the new auto supports version, and it's using a bunch of calculation to do your auto support. So it's taking consideration of the distance of the overhangs, and it's gonna place the heavy supports where they need to, the medium, so on and so forth. And this genius over here, if I'm not mistaken, is he calls himself J3D. He actually put in a free plugin, a free setup for a free preset for 35 millimeters minis. So we're gonna just click on the 35 milli, and it should generate the supports that we need for this print. Go back to our buddy. Yeah, I think this one is bugged out, so we're gonna close. And I'm gonna bring it back. What does your setup looks like? It's a bit messy. I have a small little desk right here. I think it's you don't see my hand, but it's not that far. I have a small desk. I have my printer over here in this grow tent. As for screens, I have my tablet in front, and I have two other monitors. I heard it's very expensive. Well, you can start very cheap. You don't need to go over the board like I did. I gradually upgraded my software, my setup. You can start with one screen, one computer, and now computers are getting like very high in performance. And what I bought for, let's say, $1,000, you can get more right now for $1,000. And yeah, so you don't need to go big right off the bat. Start small, do some stuff, and then upgrade as you go along and get more money, because indeed the limit is up to you. If you want the biggest graphics card, you can have it, but does it really need the biggest graphics card right now? Nah, not really. See, I'm streaming, it lags sometimes, maybe my software is having some trouble, but in the end I'm able to print, so I'm happy. Would I like to upgrade? Sure. Wouldn't like another crash again from Zbrush, but Zbrush tend to crash most of the time, so it's a heavy software with a lot of polygons, so yeah. So here, what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna just go with 1,000 and dynamesh it this way, and then we're gonna divide on that. So yeah, the limit is up to you. The printer can be a cheaper printer. I think you can find something in the 100, but don't expect the biggest result with like 100. Mine was gifted to me by my girlfriend and my birthday, so I was very happy. Was it my birthday or Christmas? One of those. One of those. I'm sorry. So yeah. So I was very happy. So decided to invest in the rest of it. So I bought myself a cleaning station and a purifier for air, and a bunch of stuff like gloves, tools, sanding tools, some little funnels. So yeah. So if you have a passion, it's good to invest in it and to prepare the money for that, right? Don't just start something just because you wanted to try it like one time and that's it. So depends. If you're saying, oh, I like playing football, but not to the extent of being a professional footballer, but don't go buy the shoes and the membership and the whole shebang to train like a footballer, a superstar, if you just like playing it casually, right? So I think we're gonna go one higher in terms of resolution. Let's go to 2000. Just check my phone real quick. There you go. So good. So here we can subdivide one time. We'll project our history. Yeah. In the meantime that it's loading, we'll go back to our Lychee Slicer. Now, as you can see, it already loaded some supports, and these supports vary. So here we have, not mistaking, this one is a medium, but not the standard medium. It's a pre-built medium over here, and here you can see there's one red one hiding right over here. And the reason why it's red, it's close to a geometry, and it's kind of saying right here, it's close to the geometry over here, and Lychee Slicer is pretty much putting us a warning that this one might be too close to the geometry. So you press space and you just move it just slightly, and you go. It's not red anymore, and this one also right here. There you go. That should be enough, allowing it to print the cape without fusing with the support. Now, as you can see over here, if we zoom in really closely, we'll lose details, obviously. But remember that this thing is 35 millimeters, so a chance of you seeing, like, even right here, I'm losing focus just naturally as a human being. So yeah, so here we go. Don't lose too much. Don't focus too much on the details. Now for the T-pose, we don't really need it, so we're just gonna remove it. And this one over here, I think it's pretty much ready to print. But in order to see that, let's look at our islands. So here on islands, just gonna press space again to remove the edit pose. And here we're gonna search for islands. And islands are pretty much little parts of the model that are dangling in the air that cannot be printed without a support. Let's go over here. This one's loading again. Obviously, when I'm live, everything is going wrong, right? Click over here. We'll wait. Maybe it'll tell Zbrush to hurry up. Now it detected 395 islands. Let's just reduce the visibility over here. As you can see, these are all the little bits of the fur that's having some issues. Right here. And you can see some part of the chainmail. The chainmail, I'm not too focused because, yes, one part of the resin might be like stuck to the film. But the second one, once it's gonna go over, it's gonna kind of detach it afterwards. But more for the fur, it would be nice to just add some preset over here. So we're gonna go to manual, and we're just gonna add some small. Should we just gonna grab the extra small one? Yeah, not the one. This one over here. Just gonna select a few. And the thing is, it's better to over support than having a failed print. Because these prints takes a lot of time, so Imagine you're printing and the next day you come to your print and it's just goo. It's not so fun. This one's having some trouble. There we go. So one thing we can do is you can see it's kind of fusing them together just for one tree. So this one has all the new ones that I added. Gonna add one right here. Okay. Now, usually with light supports, they're pretty easy to remove and they don't leave too much of support damage on your print. So that's why I'm pretty much confident to put them. Okay. Let's try to aim for this one. There we go. Now these ones, these mini ones, small ones. Once we remove the main ones, we'll access them and we can snip them with some clippers. So that's pretty cool. There you go. The reason why I'm not just saying support all the islands, it's because we have the ones on the chainmail, and chainmail is pretty much just a texture, so it won't matter too much if it doesn't have a support on it. Here. Yeah, and yeah. It's chainmail. This one is fur. What I'll do is grab this one, move it over here. There we go. This one, if I'm not mistaken, you can Alt, yeah, control click. So I want to select. There we go. Good. A control click will. I'm not mistaken, it'll fuse to another one, the closest one. So it can save you some space for your support. All right, so the RAM over here, is it really something to be worried about? So we can see over here. Starting, so that's on the film, and then the second one will cover it and it'll detach it. So I'm pretty sure this one we can leave it as it is. so we can see. So that's on the film. That's on the film. Yeah, I think we need a support right here. So what I'll do is I'll put in the support. Why it's not? Oh, manual. Right here. I'll just move this part right around here. And we'll add another mini one. From here. That I'm pretty sure it's gonna attach. Now this one might be a problem, yeah. Right here and right here. Right here. There we go. I don't like the fact that it's going on the beard, so if it's somewhere else, just gonna move it. There we go. Here it doesn't matter. It's pretty easy to access, and it's gonna slip right off. And one other one. Small one over here. Mustache is good. That's good. That's good. So let's see our islands. We'll show visibility over here. So we have a few ones on the bottom over here. Now, I know it's long and it's not the most entertaining stuff to see, but it's important. I don't know what this red part is. Small little island right here and right here. I think with that we should be good. Because this is making contact. We might need one right here and right here. It's making contact. It's not fusing all together. So I think with that we could be good to print. Once you're done with that, you export. And approximately it's taking 2 hours and 36 minutes for the print. Fortunately, we won't be able to print it on the fly, and I only have this filament printer printed piece to show you guys. But on the next episode, I'll show you how it goes, and we can even test it just the standard one, the one we modified, and also with just the auto print, the auto sport. My mouse is getting tired after all these years. See, Dylan, to answer your question, this stuff, except for the 3D print and the 3D printer and the cleaning machine, this is all stuff that I've been using for, I think, over 10 years. So they're still solid. Yeah, it's not the fastest computer in the world, but it's still pretty good computer. Right here, just put it roughly the same orientation as this one. Go to prepare and auto sports 35mm throttle. And the beauty of this, since it's one screen that is frozen and that it's showing light at the same time, we can print two models at the same time and without having more time to print. Whereas filament printing, it's a nozzle that goes around and prints the thing. And if you want to put another one, well, it goes around and prints the thing, and then another one, and it goes around and prints the thing. So yeah, it goes layers by layers for all three, let's say. But it has to go from one to another and print one after another, one after another, one after another. When it comes to resin print, you'll see over here that our time hasn't changed. So it doesn't matter because it's exactly the same model, same height. Might be some slight difference with the rotation that I put in, but other than that, it should be good. Here we're just gonna move this so it doesn't collide, and yeah, so we can test it out if just the auto sport is good and if the additional supports will help. So here it comes some clay on, you export the file, and here we can go to our Dwarf, export plates, and here we're gonna go king test. As you can see, it's going layer by layer, so we have 800 layers of resin. It's gonna go over and over and over and over. And next week, I'll show you how it prints. Now, it's only giving an estimate of 2 hours 36. To my experience, every time I have an estimate on the Lychee Sclicer, it's 20 minutes, give or take, that we have to add. So I'm guessing this one is around 3 hours of print. And during those 3 hours, I'll put the vent. I'll make sure that nobody's in the room, because it is toxic, and if you don't wear a mask over time, it can create some problem to your lungs. So that's why I have a ventilation system that shoots everything outside. I have an air purifier to make sure that the room is clean afterwards. So if you're planning on doing some resin 3D printing, make sure that you have something enclosed, shooting the air outside. Make your safe space. Make a safe space, right? You don't want to die for something like this, right? And you're not gonna die. You're gonna have like maybe some asthma or something like that, but still, why have more problems when you already have some, right? All right. So that's for the resin printing. Now, as for the filament printing, we can bring back our little buddy over here. And look at that. It's done projecting our details. Now, we kind of lost a lot of them, so I'm not so happy how it's turning out right now for the demonstration. But you know, one thing I can do is let's see something. What if I go back over here, and instead of doing that, we will go to geometry, Dynamesh, put our projection over here, reduce the blur, and let's go to 4000. This one's going to take also some time, so we'll go back to our bamboo lab. And right here, we're going to go to our scale. So the scale is right here, 35. We can actually repair, and this will take a bit of time. I think the one in bamboo is a bit slower than lychee. And what we can also do is, I'm going to show you something interesting. I'm going to go with this one. We're going to export the one that we did. So here we're going to go to 3D, Zbrush, export, STL. I'm going to go King, 35mm, and here we're going to go re-support. Support. I'm going to go right here. This is just for a demonstration. It's taking quite a while. I'll let it be. And here in Zbrush, so all my software are working right now. Actually, we can do something more useful than the one on bamboo. We'll bring it over here, since Lychee is faster. Oh, good, it's done. You were afraid, aren't you? Alright, so it's fixed. So here on the bamboo, we'll just rotate it 90 degrees. And on this one over here, we'll go to our supports. We'll activate our tree supports. And we'll go over here 1mm and around here 3mm. Make sure that the tree supports are super tiny. And here for the Z distance, we're actually gonna go, I think 0.275. So this is the distance between the supports and the model to attach. And just so you can see better, we'll change the color of the filament. We'll go with a white one. There we go. Now the beauty of it is I have four colors linked into my printer. I have green, gray, green, gray, white, and black. Here we go. And I can print them in different colors. Actually, you know what? Let's do a green one. So let's slice them up. So the resin print, it goes, I'm using my phone. There's a plate and there's a vat full of liquid. The plate goes down, freezes, goes up, goes down, freezes, goes up, goes down, freezes, and go on, so on. So we're actually printing it upside down. And in the slicer, we're looking at it upside down. So if we want to see over here, we can actually do a simulator. So it starts over here. So the vat goes down, printing a part of the supports. Then every time it goes up, it'll print gradually the supports, and then the foot, and then all the rest of the elements until you have your model. So you go underneath, you can see all the resin that's going to be freezing and curing. Yeah, so starting from here and then layers by layers. On the opposite, the filament is actually adding stuff every time. So it starts with supports, then printing it but upwards. So your islands, they're gonna fall on the bed if it doesn't print, while in the resin your islands are gonna stay in your vat, and it could damage over time your printer. For filament, might be wrong, but I feel like it's less of a risk to print. It's just you lose in the details. So if you ever consider having one printer or the other and you feel like you can do more with one, I would recommend the filament just for fun and printing some big stuff. Because also the filament printer, see the vat is a lot bigger than what we had over here. We can only fit like two per length, so 4 in total. As of here, we can print like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 12. That's pretty good. So here we can see that the supports, we're probably gonna use this time over here. So the green is the supports and the orange is the print. The only issue with filament printing is that the supports are freakishly huge for such a small mini, and they also kind of destroy your mini once you try to remove them. I tried with the 3 supports and it worked well, but you can see some issues. I can see it to the naked eye. You can see some issues that were created for this kind of printer. So we can do also is we can bring our pre-supported model. So this one over here. This one right here. I just want to see here, repair. These 2 objects with double dodgeball. We'll try to repair. Didn't I repair before? Anyways. So we'll bring another software in the road. Blender. So Blender is a free software that you can use to do 3D modeling, 3D sculpting, and a bunch of stuff. But I use it for only one purpose, because I use Zbrush most of the time. I use this plugin that was provided by this gentleman over here. You know what, let's just bring this. Painted4Combat. He created a plugin that you can print resin models in the filament printer. Sorry, some call it PLA printer. So yeah. So the way it works is you import your model. Yep. Trying to find it real fast. We'll go over here, Patreon, export, STL, King, 35, pre-supports, King. Yes, sir. So you bring it over here, and it brought both of them. That's great. Let me just fix that real quick. So we'll go over here, we'll add one, put it over here, export. Yes. Import pre-support King. There you go. So it's right here. And what this plugin do, it's really nice. You just follow the steps over here. It goes by parts. What it does, it detaches the supports. Then you assign your miniature. So I merged all the supports together. And then you will thicken your supports and apply it. And then afterwards, in order to make sure that the printer knows which one is the model and which one is the supports, we'll generate a little cube. Oh, wow. It kind of exported both. Give me a second. C'est juste ça pour le support des bâtons? Oui, pour le moment c'est juste ça parce que c'est tout petit. So Dylan asking if that's all for the sports. Yeah. The models are too small. So, vu que le modèle est tout petit, on n'a pas besoin de autant de support. Puis en plus, excuse-moi, j'essaie de faire deux choses en même temps. Ça va pas très bien. Sorry. Ok, so ouais, les supports ou les bâtons comme tu les appelles, dans le fond, sont tout petits. Fait qu'on n'a pas besoin de autant dans un petit modèle. Mais dans un gros modèle, c'est nécessaire d'avoir assez de support parce que non seulement le modèle est plus gros, comme si mettons on voulait imprimer cette forme-là ici. Donc si on voulait l'imprimer en taille réelle, on va dire ben déjà là, il ne fit pas dans la machine du tout. Parce qu'on le voit ici, que ça dépasse si l'épée ne rentre pas. Fait que si on voulait le scaler environ à, on va dire 50%, c'est environ à cette taille-là, mais s'il est rempli, il est lourd. Fait que le fait qu'on ait plusieurs supports, ben, ça va faire qu'il soit attaché plus solidement à l'imprimante. Mais l'enjeu là-dessus, c'est qu'on gaspille beaucoup de résine. Fait que la raison pourquoi on veut le hollow, comme je sais ici. Fait que hollowing, c'est ça ici. Fait que si on voudrait le rendre vide à l'intérieur, ça fait qu'il est plus léger. Puis aussi, on a besoin de moins de support à long terme. There we go. So here, we'll go back to 100. Wait, let's just go over here and 35. Here. Sports. So when exporting from Lychee Sclicer, it was exporting both models at the same time. So I just want one to show you guys, and just to see the difference between the printing time of this one. So this one is around 2 hours and 44 minutes. We're gonna put in another one, just in advance. We're gonna add a plate so we can compare. Sorry. All right. From here, export SDL file. Gracias por las explicaciones. Me irá a la cama. You're welcome, Dylan. You're welcome. Alright, so I just realized that there is one support right here that is causing a bit of an issue. There we go. Let's export it once again. King. Yep. Alright, now you import your news file. There we go. And from here, split into loose parts. from here, select your mini, assign miniature. So the supports are all together. Thicken them just a little bit. From here, your miniature, generate a cube. There we go. So the cube is right here. And then you export your miniature. So we'll go to pre-sport and we'll add one for FDM. Filament King. You know what? So we can have a difference. King FDM. Right here, so export sports. King supports FDM. Right, so from here on the new plate, we're gonna bring our two file we just created. And since it's two parts, we're gonna click yes, because it's only gonna print once together, everything together. And as you can see over here, we're gonna put them green. And now we have the supports from Lychee Sclicer in the Bamboo Lab studio. So these ones, you go over here and you just cut them with the little snippet. Whereas these ones, you try to cut them with a little snippet and sometimes they destroy your build. So I was lucky enough with this one, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be I'm gonna be that lucky on this one. So let's slice this one out. Let's see if in our Zbrush. Yeah, so we kept a bit more of our details. Yeah. Just gonna show you the difference for now. The bamboo slicer will tell you that there is some height difference between the cube right here and your model, because it's reading it. This is one model and this is the other model, so the supports are two models, but the fact that they're touching together, we don't need to have an issue. Now, as you can see here, our time doubled for the printing, and that's because it's applying the same principle and same speed for everything, because it's just one singular mesh. We can kind of tweak it by splitting these two into objects. Do you ever run into issues with overfitting your shaders when working in high dynamic light simulation in a non-equidistant scene? Huh? No. Short answer. Second answer is what? And the large answer is I'm pretty sure you're talking about material stuff and with some dynamic and rendering stuff. I don't do that. So this is only miniature stuff. We don't do shaders. We don't do lights. The only light we'll do is once it's printing, I'll do a snapshot on it. But no. Great question. Unfortunately, I can't answer. All right, so here, here in the supports, what we'll do is we'll put in a higher value for the layer height, and we're just gonna press ignore. And this one over here, it's gonna be a shorter height. Ah, ok, je vois. Good, j'espère que tu vois bien. And here in the speed, we can increase it to maybe 90. It's gonna go faster for the sports, but it's gonna keep its low resolution speed for the model. And also for the sports, just to add a little bit of structure, we're gonna go over here and brim. Brim, what it does is just a little small skin on the bed, and it will allow us to have a better adhesion to the build. So if we slice it up, we'll see if we save some time. Otherwise, yeah, at least it'll look pretty. Alright, so that's good. Now I'll show you the next step that we had that I did for exporting this. Just want to make sure that this is good. Now here we're gonna have a bunch of error message saying that the cube and the model is too far away. They can't do, but the fact that they're touching together, it's fine. So here we are at 3 hours and 28 minutes, and the other one is 2 hours and 44 minutes for the printing time. Don't consider the preparation time because it's just the machine prepping itself. So I think it's 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes of difference, but at least we won't have the hassle of destroying our army. Tu pars toujours de la même base? Nope. Nope. Des fois, je vais commencer de A à Z, de faire le bonhomme de A à Z. Sinon, j'ai déjà des personnages que j'ai déjà faits. Je les réutilise. So, ça dépend. Ça dépend. Donc, comme là, c'est un nain qu'on va réutiliser pour plusieurs personnages. Fait que je vais juste réutiliser le même. Mais ça arrive des fois que je dois créer de A à Z au complet. Comme faire un dragon. Ça serait de A à Z, parce que les dragons sont différents à chaque fois. Les humains sont pas mal tout le temps un peu la même proportion, en tout cas. Fait que c'est assez facile à arranger. Fait que, yeah. C'est ça. J'espère que ça répond à la question. Alright, so the last thing would be to send them to the printer. Unfortunately, right now there is something printing. It's a base that I have for a project, but I'll show you again on the next step. Tu fais juste des personnages, right? Je priorise des personnages. Je fais pas souvent des créatures. Ce sera des créatures humanoïdes, comme mettons un corps d'humain avec une tête de loup ou de lion, mais avec des proportions aussi avec des éléments de lion. Mais je fais aussi des créatures. So here in Zbrush, just to translate for you guys, Dylan's asking if I use the same base for every model. I tend to change them from time to time. I use I reuse the ones if it's similar. So in our case, we're doing a dwarf chest piece. I'm gonna reuse the dwarf chest piece for every part. And but sometimes, let's say I'm doing a dragon, I would have to do the dragon from A to Z, because dragons are very different from one another. And then the second question is if I always do characters. Most of the time, yes. I tend to do some creatures sometimes, but most of the time it's characters. As you can see over here, let me see if I can show you guys. ArtStation, ArtStation, and we'll go to there you go. So here, nope, that's not me. Interesting. Let me just log in real quick. There you go. So here, this is a sorry, it's a little blacksmith that I did. This is not the same base of dwarf that we used, but it's a different one. And then from here, you have a Superman. It's actually something that I'm working on. This is another one. Stomp. Kind of want to redo it afterwards with some new techniques that I used for. These are my early projects. So this is Paw, again, another early project. And then this is more of a, not me who did the model, but more of a texture work. But yeah, some characters right here, and then also I did this this statue in Unreal. Statue of an old man with a scenery. So yeah, that's pretty much all I do. There you go. Going back to this one over here, so we have 2 million polygons, and this is a bit too high for to send to our Lychee Sclicer. So basically what we did over here, it was pretty loose, really fast to work with. And the reason why is because here in Zbrush, what I did is we go to Z plugin, Decimation Master, and we go to 250k. So it's transforming 2.2 million points, and it's going to put them to 250k, keeping the resolution as it is, and keeping as much details that we can. Now I think I know what I did before is before scaling it down to 35 millimeters, I dynameshed it together. So that way it keeps all the details in a higher scale, and when it's stripped down, it keeps even more of the details on it, so we don't see as much of a frizzle little thingy over here. We don't see as much damage on the side. Now you can see over here we lost quite a bit of details, but we're really close on the character, and I think for 35 millimeter that's enough. But what we can do over here is we can bump it up to 300, and instead of going to 250, we'll go to 300, and it's still manageable for both Lychee Slicer and Bamboo Lab to work it. Penses-tu être capable de reproduire un personnage réel, genre personnalisé, personnalité publique ou whatever? Vraiment pas par curiosité, ça doit prendre du temps. So the question is if I could I could create a character from a personal, already known personality. La réponse, oui, ça prend beaucoup de temps parce qu'il faut beaucoup de références. Puis aussi, c'est plus dur de trouver des bonnes références sur l'Internet. Il y en a de plus en plus. Mais des fois, c'est côté résolution, il y a des problèmes de résolution au niveau des photos. Mais oui, c'est possible. Est-ce que moi, je suis capable? Oui, je pense que oui. J'ai fait un projet où est-ce que j'ai dû faire le visage de quelqu'un basé sur quelques photos. Et c'était assez ressemblant. So yeah, so I think I can do it. Most of the time it's just a question of reference, to have a nice resolution reference, and also different angles. So different angles, upward, downward, left, right. Make sure that the face is really nice. And yeah, I did the project once that I had to recreate the face of somebody, and it was really pretty close. René Lévesque, nah. Fortunately, I don't do I don't do that, but if I could, I think so. But yeah, it's not a project that I'm willing to do right now. So here we have our character in 300K. We just need to export it, and we'll place it in the right file. On Dwarf, export. Here we go. So that's for 35mm. Let's say you want to do 75mm. Now that comes a bit complicated, but it's doable. So first thing we would do is bring back our file with everything. How do you find the industry? Because future possibilities are quite wide-ranging. So the industry. Give me a second. Yeah. So when it comes to the industry here in Canada, it was very highly viewed as I was studying, and during COVID, a lot of people got cut off, unfortunately. I know some people from my year who got cut off from the industry where it was movies or games, and that is probably due to the strikes, multiple strikes, the fact that a lot of people don't go to the movies, unfortunately, anymore. I love going to the movies, just movies right now are not the best one that I used to see before. I think the last good one that I saw at the cinema, I think the last one that I saw at cinema was which one was it? God dang, it was so long ago. I think it was a Spider or something like that. Yeah, so you have all these great movies like Oppenheimer, Sinners that you can now stream. So unfortunately, the cinema industry is going lower, unfortunately. Yeah, for industry in games, I think it's pretty much the same deal, but also the inflation is kind of affecting stuff. So a game back in my time it was like $30. Now it's 100 and you have to pay even more for the DLCs. So it just so if the price is getting higher and people are not buying it, the companies are doing less and less games. And yeah, so it's unfortunate because a lot of people studied for these jobs, and the best of the best are still in there. But when you're trying to get in there, it's pretty hard. And as long as you work hard, you can get a job, but it's less obtainable than before. And yeah. T'as-tu des projets en vue? Oui, plusieurs. La limite s'arrête jamais. Le but, c'est de grandir ce channel, grandir le brand, faire de plus en plus de modèles disponibles pour tout le monde. Puis là, en ce moment, c'est juste un projet, mais j'en ai plusieurs en tête, que ce soit des miniatures petites comme celle-ci ou des plus grosses sculptures. Donc, c'est tous des projets qui m'intéressent à faire. Honnêtement, j'ai du grand fun à créer des choses non-stop. So the question was if I had some project in mind. I have a lot of projects. There is no limit. Whereas it's a small miniature like this or a big statue, there's no limit for me. So I just want to start creating. I love creating, and that's why I'm doing this. Like, this is my passion ever since I started studying in 3D. So, yeah. Going back to our main schedule. Thank you for the question, Dylan. Always great questions. So here, when it comes to 75 millimeters, grab our ruler. So we went from this, and we're gonna go this high. So we're pretty much doubling and even a bit more our size. So in order to print the file correctly, it'll be nice to have it separated. That way it's easier to print, and also less risk of damaging your printer in the end. Like I said, if you have multiple islands and the islands are still in the vat, there's a risk of damaging your printer. But also if you have a bigger statue and you're printing it in one go and it falls in your printer, well, it can damage your film, it can splashes and all sorts of stuff. So to allow that, what we can do is separate our model into multiple assets. So yeah, 75, it's not that big, but I think it's pretty much the size of this leg right here. Let me see. I mean, and it's not 75, so roughly this one. So this leg over here is 75 millimeters high. So we're gonna go with somewhat of this size over here. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is again merge everything, but notice that I removed the cape and removed the belt, and the reason why is we're gonna make the cut in the belt, and the cape we're gonna add it to the torso afterwards. So here that's our 35 millimeter, and here that's our regular size. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna cut the bottom and the middle, but in order to see where we're gonna cut, we're gonna bring our belt back, then append the belt, and now we can toggle it on and off. And here what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a cylinder. We're gonna put it roughly the same angle of the belt. And like that. And here we're gonna also add some spheres. Gonna understand what I'm doing in just a second. Just gonna duplicate this one right now. So we're gonna need it for the other arm. Like that. And this one over here, we're gonna move it over here. They used to make these for stop motion. Yes, so stop motion was the way to animate stuff back then. Now with the computers, you can pretty much animate on the fly, but yeah, stop motion was the way to go before. So you would take a picture every time you moved your character, and now we have movies at I think it was like 60 frames a second. Yeah, 60 frames a second. But the usual standard is 25. So you would need 25 pictures for just 1 second of animation. So imagine doing a movie of 2 hours and a half in stop motion. So we can even do the calculation ourselves. So 2 hours and a half times 60 minutes. So it would have 150 minutes, and for the minutes you would need 60 seconds for each, and you would need 24 frames per second. So you would need 216 pictures for just a movie. For example, Tata Clack. Yeah, Tata Clack is it's a stop motion, but also a comp work. Because Tata Clack is, yes, clay, but they remove the mouth and the eyes, and these are filmed. They're filmed on a separate plate, and then they slap it on the clay. So it's only when they move that it's stop motion. But when they animate and they talk, that is just regular filming, as we can see, like as usual filming. So here my goal is to just hide both arms and the upper body of our character. So here, these three elements, I will merge them together. Oh, that's a lovely character that we have right here. All right, and what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna hide the belt. And I just want to see if it works well. Gonna activate our live boolean. Actually, we're gonna separate that. What I'm looking at is just to make sure that I'm not cutting too much of the bottom part. And if I snap the belt on, yeah. So I'm not cutting the tunic, I'm just keeping the bottom part intact. All right, so that's good. For this part, if you notice that I removed the cylinder, the two parts are still interacting inside the cylinder, so we're gonna dynamesh it. Juste la résine ou dépendant de la création, tu changes. Dépendant de la création, je vais changer. C'est sûr que s'il y a quelque chose de beaucoup plus gros, ouais, s'il y a quelque chose de beaucoup plus gros, je vais utiliser du filament parce que ça va prendre moins de temps à imprimer et aussi c'est un peu plus facile à gérer dû au setup que j'ai ici. Puis c'est sûr que mon but c'est résine principalement parce que ça donne le meilleur résultat au niveau de la finition. Mais ouais, ça dépend du projet. Si c'est plus quelque chose d'un outil, comme récemment j'avais imprimé comme un bol pour rincer des fraises et du riz, là. Ben ça je l'imprime avec le filament. Je veux pas me casser la tête avec du liquide et des affaires toxiques pour un bol. My bad, I got so much questions, mais t'es chanceux, je les ai une fois par semaine. It's okay, Dylan. I like your questions. They're very interesting, and it keeps the conversation flowing. There we go. So now that I have this merged on, we'll go to live boolean, and now this is the bottom part. And we're just gonna press here start, and we're gonna make boolean mesh. So when it comes to cutting, it's a bit more tedious because you have to think, okay, how does a piece fit into another? And it was a bit complicated at first, but You just have to visualize it a little bit more and just planning your ahead when you're cutting. But yeah, it can be tedious, and you have to be patient with this kind of work. Especially if you have multiple pieces, you have to really think, okay, well, this arm goes here, and does he have something on his arm? All right, is it colliding with the head? No, all right, cool. Then we can print it. And when you pop it in, it fits on. But let's say you have an arm and then a cape folding on the arm. So you got to consider, all right, well, we'll have to put in the arm first and then the cape so it doesn't collide. So if you're going to prepare your cuts for that, you got to make sure that your cut for your arm is ready to have a cape on it. So you have to really think about it really well when you're cutting your mesh. You see here the situation we have is we have the belt. So when we're gonna snap the body on it, we need the belt to not be in the way. So we're gonna actually create a duplicate of the belt and shrink it even more. That way the top is a bit smaller. It'll fit nicely on the bottom part, and the belt will just look seamless, and it'll actually give a more of an illusion that he's wearing a belt, because you're gonna have that little space around it, and it's gonna feel like he's wearing actually a belt. So here, when we do a Boolean, here's our result right here. You can see small bits over here. It doesn't matter because we're gonna make the proper Boolean operation for the top part. But what it is important is we can select this part, Control Shift A to select the whole thing collected, and delete anything that isn't the bottom part. Because let's say you have this little bit in your file. Well, when you're trying to print that, it'll read this little bit and it'll tell you you have a little bit over here. And you're like, God damn it, I don't want that little bit. So select that, Control A, make sure that it's only the leg, delete hidden. That's it. No bits, no error. This is just a little artifact of things, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be hidden when we slap it on. All right, now for the top part. So like I said, we're gonna create a duplicate of the belt, and this one we're gonna go to our lowest subdivision. We're gonna group by normals. We're gonna grab the green one, and you can take it. Oops. We're gonna grab the green one, and oh, what's happening? Okay, we're gonna shrink it. We're gonna shrink it down so it's a bit thicker, like so. And this part over here, this blue part, what I'll do over here is I'll try to align myself like that. It's actually like complex. Imagine a guy who knows nothing like me, and you teach him how to make creation in a day. You think he managed to do that? So this takes a lot of time. So you don't start with a full character. Already the software is complicated, but you take one step at a time. So the way it goes is one step at a time. You go with a small project, and you can start with an apple, you can start with a skull, which is just simple concept like that. You can start with just a small object. You don't need to go. You can start with Super Mario. It's pretty easy because it's just shapes together and it forms Mario. You don't have to sculpt anything on Mario, maybe the mustache, but It's not that complicated. But then afterwards, you practice anatomy, and then you practice more, and you learn about more of the software and what you can do with it. And then afterwards, you can start other project. As for the 3D part of it, unfortunately, you have to learn these stuff because otherwise you'll end up with some failed prints. And in the end, also, it's trial and error. I've failed more times than I succeeded to do a print, and I'm still failing right now because I'm calibrating and calibrating and calibrating and calibrating, and turns out there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't know that we had to consider when we were doing a print. But it's like life. You have to start something and then make it perfect, so you make it better every time. Le concept est une dinguerie en fait. So yeah, le concept c'est important d'avoir un bon concept, d'être sûr que c'est quelque chose que t'aimes aussi. So c'est bien important. So here for the blue part, the question was about the comment was concept is crazy. So you have to have a good concept of what you want to do. So here we go. So here we have the belt ready to go, and you can see the difference between this one and this one. So we're just gonna isolate them. This is the one that he's wearing, and this is the one that we're gonna cut with. You can see it's just a tad bigger. And just so we don't confuse them, belt, and here, belt, cut. From here, can hide the one that he's gonna wear. We're gonna keep the cut, and we're gonna do this and this. Now we realized that there was some elements that was missing. So this one over here. And I think, yeah, this one right here. I think we should be good. So now we need to reverse cut. So just click over here, and now we have the torso. But the torso, we needed to have that space for the belt. Here we go. So now here we have that little space. So if I toggle it on and off, you can see that space right here for the belt. And that way when we insert it, it'll fit flush. And the seam will be flawless because the seam is inside the belt and it's going to be hidden. So from here, we can do another live boolean operation. So when it comes to 3D modeling, it takes a long time, but it doesn't take a long time. It takes a lot of efforts to learn something new. And if you want to do the concept, you're going to find some shortcuts, and you can learn from the shortcut themselves. But if you start with the basics, you're going to have the good foundation and grow really fast. Because who knows, like just 1 hour a day of doing a simple task on Zbrush, just some small exercise that you find online, and that's enough. It's good enough, and you're gonna grow from that. But if you do 2 hours, well, just double the effort, and you're gonna grow even faster. So it's just a matter of taking the time, trying to do it, and eventually you'll grow. See, in my aspect, I don't see myself as an expert. I know a bunch of stuff. I think I am decent in most of the stuff, and I can make hands and feet to resemble hands and feet, but I'm not going to be able to model Michelangelo's sculptures. So maybe one day I'll put myself the time and to just do it, but not right now. Ça rendrait du 3D. I'm no sensei, just a student. All right, so again, select, Control Shift A, and delete hidden. That way we don't have any extra bits somewhere that is floating in the air. And here we have our little offset to fit our bottom half. So if we bring our bottom half, which is right here, like I said, you can even see that he's wearing more the belt right now because you have that little space. And just to make it cleaner, we can, with a small brush, smooth stuff like this. We can even go with trim dynamic and just slightly adjust these. Like so. And we can go a bit bigger because this is clothes. This is a tunic that is in contact with the belt. So like that. Oh, I'm going really rough. That's pretty much the end of the stream. And then you smooth. Once you have this, here you go. So it fits a bit bigger, and you can even kind of scooch it just a bit like that. Just make sure that that doesn't go in too much. There you go. Ton personnage est, j'aurais presque même si on est en tu devrais lui mettre une couronne. Yeah, so la couronne est juste ici, de là. Ton personnage est genré, j'espère, même si on est dans le musée. You know, c'est un homme. C'est un homme dwarf, c'est un roi. Et on va faire la reine bientôt. So, yeah. So here, the only last thing we need to do is a key, and to add the belt, the cape. So here we're gonna select the cape, and we're gonna append. And from here, we just need to boolean the cape together with the torso. And we can even go a step further. No, you know what? I'll make sure that we'll go step by step. So this was going to fuse the belt, the cape with the torso. And then the last step is to create a key. So a key is an element like this. So a little, it could be a square, it can be a point. It's easier a square, but it can be any shape you want. So the key will fit into a slot, and it'll hold the place together. And then you can put some glue on the key itself to assemble it. and that way you're sure that it fits the correct orientation that you want. So using a square, it's easier because if the leg is like this, you know you put it wrong, right? But if you put in the square and it's the right orientation, well, you're good to go. You can glue it and that's it. So here we have our top. Here we have our bottom. And the last thing we need to create is our key. So the key is super simple. You start with a sphere, go to initialize. We'll go to resolution 1 and create a cube. Make sure you're centered, like so. All right, and then from here, we're gonna mask the bottom part and reverse it, and we're just gonna scale down like that. So here we're gonna duplicate. We're gonna call this one bowl and this one key. And the hole, we're just gonna scale it, we're just gonna inflate it just a bit. So control and scale on the green part. Just control or shift or alt, sorry, alt, and just inflate it just a bit like that. You can just scale it up, scale it a bit. Yep. So that way, if we remove this one, it'll create a hole. And for this one, it'll create a key. Spoiler alert, I already did it, just so I can show you. There we go. And this one over here. Now I'm not sure this one is the proper scale. I would have to verify. But you can see over here, the hole is right here. And I think I have to do it again because this, I didn't notice that. And here you have the key. You know what? Let's just do it on this one over here. I think I'll do it afterwards because this is the end of the stream. So there you have it. You have your first part over here, and you would fix model, put the support again, and then you would have your bottom part over here. I think it is this proper scale. It's just I haven't tested out yet. And for this part over here, we're just gonna move it over here. So there you have it. 35mm, 75mm. And once you print those, you can slide this one in the little pocket over here. And that's it. I know it's really rushed for the end, but this is going to be the end of the stream. I hope you had a great time. Thank you, Dylan, for all the questions. Very nice to have the conversation glowing. And don't forget to like, comment, stream. I hope you had a great day. Hope you had a great week. And I will see you next week. Thank you.